my name is Ryan Lane, and welcome to my review channel. So for today's movie, I will be reviewing Guy Ritchie's The Covenant, directed by, Guy Ritchie, and starring Jake Gyllenhaal and Dar Salim. Anyway, the year is 2018. America is in Afghanistan and 3 years away from a disaster, to put it generously, of a pullout from the country. Anyway, but before this pullout happens, Sergeant John Kinley, played by Jake Gyllenhaal, is tasked with leading his men through Afghanistan suburbs and the rural areas to find Taliban guns and bombs. And to help facilitate this process, in spite of the language barrier, is an interpreter by the name of Ahmed, played by Dar Salim. Anyway, following a raid on a Taliban bomb factory, Ahmed and Kinley must work together to escape from Taliban-controlled territory and make it home safely. So the performances, especially by Gyllenhaal and Salim respectively, are well done. Gyllenhaal conveys through his eyes alone just the world weariness and professionalism of his character. Like there's at one point in the movie during a tense action sequence, he's staring down to some members of the Taliban, almost daring them with his eyes alone, saying, "Yeah, go ahead, shoot me, see what happens." Really good stuff there. Plus, Dar Salim also does a good job as Ahmed, an interpreter, and manages to show just how dedicated he is to embracing his vendetta on the Taliban. Like, he's in it for more than just the visa, although that is a pretty nice perk considering how being an interpreter for the U.S. Army during this time period is almost akin to a death sentence if you're stuck in Afghanistan. More on that detail later. Anyway, Gyllenhaal and Salim, they have good chemistry together, and you enjoy the conflict between them, and more appropriately, seeing as they resolve their differences together and find a good way to compromise with each other. Really good stuff there. The supporting characters actors also give good performances as well. However, the writing isn't quite as up to par with the main protagonists. Not that they're badly written. They are well-written characters, but that's sort of what they feel like at times. Just characters, to bounce dialogue and exposition off of the main characters. Again, well-written, everyone from Kinley's superior officer, Volk, to his wife. Again, well acted, and they suit their roles well. Just maybe, I don't know, would have been nice to see them get a little more depth. And also, there's one other issue regarding the performances. It's mainly with regard to the American characters versus the Afghan characters. The American characters, I mean, to mostly solid results, they all get distinct personalities, but the Afghan characters, they don't fare quite as well. Again, aside from characters that are in one way or another assisting Kinley with his operation to support his interpreter, they're nothing more than just cannon fodder to be shot at and blown up in varying degrees of violence and explosiveness. So, not exactly going to win representation points, if you get what I mean. So, the screenplay is well done, and it manages to give each character, big and small, at least one moment to shine well. Like every character from Jake Gyllenhaal and Dar Salim to the character to Kinley's wife, they all get at least some good dialogue to work with and good moment. Plus, the character even lets the interpreter Ahmed be the hero of the story for a pretty good chunk of the runtime. Like for about a solid 15-20 minutes or so of the film, it's Ahmed's show, and the actor Dar Salim is more than up to the task. The screenplay also manages to give Gyllenhaal's character Kinley a very good character arc as he learns to compromise and be a little less, my way or the highway kind of guy. I really did enjoy that. Plus, the film also has good commentary upon the sheer disaster, to put it lightly, that is the visa system for Afghan interpreters. I really appreciate how the film manages to avoid being a gung ho film and manages to really convey the fact that for every Ahmed out there that has a Kinley fighting for him, there are countless other interpreters that have been left behind, well, in some cases, tragically to die. And on that grim note, the film does also manage to have just enough levity in unexpected places to keep things from being too excessively grim and depressing. Like, there's one moment, that's really, like big and dramatic, and then in an organic way is played for laughs. Like in any other film, this wouldn't have worked, but in this film, it somehow does. So the action scenes are well directed and are atypically directed, at least by Guy Ritchie standards. The action scenes are, for once, actually comprehensible, which is, I mean, Guy Ritchie must have been replaced by an alien when he did that Operation Fortune Ruse de Guerre film, because the action scenes in that movie are choppy as hell, whereas in this one, they're actually comprehensible. Like, you can see what's actually going on. Yeah, it's filmed in an engaging manner. The cuts are long, wide, and go on for quite a while. Like, there's one especially impressive sequence as Ahmed escapes from a house before the Taliban can get to him. That's really well done. Plus, you know exactly where each character is, and the geography is well defined. Plus, the film uses a lot of long shots with the camera pulled far back and overhead shots to convey the vulnerability of our characters. Plus, some stylized direction to put you in the headspace of the soldiers. And it can be a little bit much at times, especially regarding some extreme close-ups and some slow motion, but otherwise, it's very effective and well done. I hope to see more better directed action sequences in Guy Ritchie films, because if he does what he did with Operation Fortune, more The Covenant, less the Operation Fortune. Thank you very much, Guy Ritchie. So if you're looking for a war movie that's relatively light on gung-ho patriotism and shines a light on underappreciated interpreters, this Covenant might just be the movie for you. So with all that in mind, I will be giving Guy Ritchie's The Covenant 3.5 out of 5 stars. Anyway, thank you for watching. Have a good rest of your day. If you like this review and would like to see more like it, be sure to like and subscribe and leave a comment down below. And for today's comment section prompt of the day, what is your favorite Guy Ritchie flick and why?